What's up guys, Kyle here again, and welcome back to another episode of FAQ'n Friday. If you guys didn't see my recent post, I finally got a Kemper, and I created some profiles and I sent them around to a bunch of people to test them out and got a lot of really good feedback. So with that being said, I am actually going to work on my first Kemper pack for this amp right here, the Barton high voltage transistor. And as soon as this video goes live, which should be sometime within the next few days, I'm going to offer a companion Kemper profile pack for this amplifier, and it's going to feature the amp by itself dialed in a couple different ways. It'll feature a bunch of different overdrives baked in, and it'll feature a few different cabs baked in too. So you're probably gonna get somewhere around 30 to 40 profiles of this amp, and I'm gonna have that priced at $15 to start off. So just wanted to let you guys know, jumping into the Kemper profile game, if I can ever get my hands on a quad cortex again, because I sold mine, I'll start doing some quad cortex captures as well. But yeah, a lot of you guys have been asking me for Kemper profiles of the amps that I demo here on the channel for a long time, and I put it off for a long time because I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought I was going to suck at it, but the feedback that I got just from the first few profiles that I did and sent around to people for testing was extremely positive. So I am going to do my best to create an awesome Kemper profile pack for this amp, and then I'm gonna offer it to you guys at a low price, and hopefully moving forward I'll be able to offer you guys a little Kemper packs for all the amps that I do, and then create some like combination profile packs of my favorite amps for thrash and for hardcore and for modern tones, like kind of package them all together with different features and everything. So just wanted to let you guys know off the bat that's something that I'm going to be working on providing for you guys for the foreseeable future. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the Kemper pack and the video for the Barton high voltage transistor 50. I'm really excited to kind of start doing this, and really curious to see how you guys dig the amp and how you guys dig the profiles if you purchase them. In reality, all I'm gonna do is take that money from the Kemper profile sales and invest it in more amps to eventually get more stuff here on the channel, and then do more profiles and create a vicious cycle of buying even more amps because I don't have enough. But with that out of the way, let's get to your guys' questions. Luke Wilson asks, what happened with the revised Peavey 6505 and 6505-2? Did Peavey delay them? Thanks for your question, Luke. I get this question all the time. Like, people will directly message me this all the time because I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to be the first person to demo the new 6505-2 from Peavey back in December. And since then, it has been pretty much radio silence from Peavey on this amp. Now, a couple of times, pre-orders for the 6505-2 and the 6505 1992 original have popped up on various websites, but many times they have also been taken right down as if they were almost posted by mistake, and it is just kind of creating even more questions around the amps. It's creating some frustration from some people because some people still don't believe that they're real. Some people still think that I went out of my way to physically, aesthetically alter a 6505 Plus and screen print the back panel with different stuff and add it. I'm serious. I'm not joking. Like, I've gotten these comments many times. So I can understand why the flat earth movement is a thing, because people will just do all sorts of mental gymnastics to justify whatever weird thoughts they have in their head. So anyways, Peavey didn't delay them per se because they haven't even announced them officially yet. If you guys go on Peavey's Instagram page a couple of days ago, they posted, and in the background of whatever it was they were talking about, I believe it was like a subwoofer, you can see the 6505 1992 original and the 6505-2 sitting in the back. So yes, they do exist. That's Peavey's kind of official acknowledgement of them, in my opinion. No, they haven't officially announced them yet, but if they're sitting in the back of their official Instagram profile posts, then yeah, they're real. So have they been delayed? Technically, yes and no. Yes, because they were supposed to come out a year ago, but the tube shortage situation is very, very real. Peavey has been waiting on an order of tubes from JJ for a long, long time. I actually got to talk to a couple of the very high up guys at Peavey at Summer NAMM in Nashville when I went last year, and that was the main thing that they said about tube amps. They're like, we can't get tubes. We've been waiting on tubes for forever. I've confirmed that with a couple of different other other sources, so it has nothing to do with Peavey at this point and has everything to do with tube manufacturers just being extremely behind on their large-scale production. So I can promise you guys those amps are very real. I can promise you as soon as they are actually released, I will get them back on my channel one way or another, and I will give you guys as many demos of them as I possibly can, because you know that I'm a huge 5150-6505 fan. Yes, they exist. Yes, they are technically delayed. No, they are technically not delayed because they haven't officially been announced, but you guys should hopefully see them sometime this summer. Ghostman1846 asks, what are some of your most sought after amps you are dying to find or try out? Are there any left? Keep up the great content. Yeah, so that is a great question, man, because for a little while, I kind of got out of the amp game per se. I wasn't, you know, actively searching out new amps and looking in the forums to try and find stuff that I've never heard of before. That's something that I very actively did for a couple of years, all the way up into, you know, starting my YouTube channel. That's kind of what drove it. And I kind of just got to the point where I'm like, I feel like I've played pretty much everything that I want to play, other than Wizard amps, and Wizards were just so expensive that I really just kind of lost interest in them. Like before, you know, the world kind of broke down and fell apart, you could find them for sometimes, if you were lucky, around $2,700-$2,800 used for a Modern Classic 2, which is the model that I really want. But now, after all that, man, I've had a couple people message me and offer me their Wizard amplifiers, and then they say they want like $5,000 for them and it's a used amp, and I'm like, there's no way, man. I will never ever pay $5,000 for an amp. I'm sorry. I am willing to pay large amounts of money for amps. As you guys can see with the wall behind me, I've got some expensive stuff here. I'm willing to pay for that stuff, but there's kind of like a line that even I have to draw where I say, no, that's ludicrous. I can't put that much money into a single amplifier. And the Wizard is it for me. I can't spend $4,500 to $5,000 on a single amp, especially when some of my favorite amplifiers cost $400 on the used market. Like, I absolutely love the Jet City amps. And those, I got all those for super cheap, but even so, they sell for 400 bucks used in good condition. Or a Peavey Ultra, the old teal stripe Ultras, that's an amp that typically sells for $400 to $500 used these days. And I absolutely love that amp, and there are a number of other amps under the $1,000 price mark that, I mean, I tend to use, you know, the used 5150s and the used Splons. Of course, Splons, I guess, are a little bit closer to $1,300, $1,400 used now, but when I was buying them, they were $700, $800 used. You could find good deals on them fairly frequently. I even had my super mint condition 2015 Pro Quick Rod, the very first one that I ever owned that was like fully loaded. I had that for sale for $1,100, and it took me a year to sell it at that price. Now, if I were to list a Splon for 1,100 bucks, gone. I bet you it'd be gone within 24 hours. So that just shows you the kind of market we're in. But I am getting off on a whole tangent, which I am really good at doing. Back to the question. Yes, there are many amps that I still want to try. I actually just got one in the other day, the Purple Nightmare. It was an amp that I was really, really curious about for a long time. I have that in my possession now. I own it. It is my amp. You guys will see some demos. You guys will see some profiles on it. But that is another amp that I could cross off the list. And again, like I said, the Wizard stuff for sure. I really want to try a Modern Classic 2. I really want to try a metal or an MTL amp, and pretty much any other Wizard that I can get my hand on. I'm very, very interested in checking those out. The Dietzel Hagen is an amp that I really, really want to try for myself. I've been very curious about that amp. I would love to get one here on the channel. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, there are a lot. Like, I for a minute, I was just like trying to think, because I read this question before I started filming this video, and I was like, there's not much. And then the more I got to thinking, the more I was like, no, there are a lot. The Fireball, I just got an Engel Fireball 25. Absolutely love that thing. And you guys are gonna see a couple of demos with that because I'm using it for a couple of different things currently, as well as a main amp playthrough type deal. But that just makes me want the Fireball 100 even more, because you guys know I like the lunchbox size amps, but I generally play in metal and hardcore bands where, you know, at practice we're not miking ourselves up, and a lot of the shows you need to have a loud amp on stage. So a Fireball 100, definitely an amp that I really want to get in here in the studio. And then the Invader is another angle amp that I've never played that I would really like to play. I know there are a few different models, so whatever the latest model the Invader is, I'd like to try that, as well as the special edition. That's like the angle that has all the buttons. The Savage Mark II behind me has almost too many buttons already, but still, I would love to try that special edition. I've had a couple people tell me that that is the one that I really need to try, so that's on the list. Bogner Uberschall Twin Jet. Everybody who doesn't like the Uberschall Rev Blue always says that the Twin Jet is the one that fixes the issues that they don't like, which are typically the issues that I don't like, where it's just not quite aggressive enough and the low end is just a little bit too soft, a little bit too tubby. I'd like something a little bit tighter and more percussive, so the Bogner Uberschall Twin Jet is on that list. Of course, I love my Omega Granifier, but I'd love to try the Obsidian as well. I've never gotten to play the Obsidian. And then we move into the stuff from like the modders, like the Gower stuff. I would love to try Gower modded Marshall. I really would love to try some of his stuff. Monomyth, I've had one of Shay's amps that he modded here on the channel before, but the Skeleton Key, I have heard literally nothing but rave reviews about the Monomyth Skeleton Key. So that is an amp that I am actually going to be talking to Shay about getting here on the channel very soon, because I get a lot of requests for that one. It's a very limited amp, but every single person who owns it and has tried it or has heard it in person has said nothing but amazing things about it. So that's another one that I would love to try. A lot of people are asking me about the Hermanson modded stuff. I would love to get some of his stuff here on the channel, but when you get into the modded amplifiers and not the production amplifiers, it gets a lot harder to start tracking that stuff down. So keep that in mind. Of course, Shay is building his own amps at Monomyth now, but he's doing very limited runs, so getting my hands on one of those is going to be difficult as well. And because I forgot, moving back into the production side of things, I would love to try the Red 7 amps. They have a few different models that seem really interesting to me, and they just look like really quality pieces of gear. They have a high price tag, but I would love to try those out. And then last but not least, MLC amplifiers. A couple of days ago, they announced a new Sub-Zero V signature model for the guitarist of Decapitated, and I would love to try that thing too. My buddy Chris Reardon has the regular Sub-Zero, I believe it is, from MLC, and he raves about that amplifier. So that was an amp that I didn't even know that I wanted to try until somebody suggested it to me. And then, you know, that happens often, like Barton High Voltage here. I didn't know about this company at all. And then I had someone reach out to me, and then I had a couple people request it who I knew. Caleb actually sent me this amp for a demo, and it's fucking awesome. This amp, seriously, I can't wait for you guys to hear this thing. It's a really cool amp that does a lot of things. But that just really kind of leads me to the point of there may be tons of amps out there that I have no idea, that I don't even know about, that I would love, that I need to try. So I kind of need to dive back down that rabbit hole and find some more stuff, because I haven't been looking for a while, and I just started looking again like not that long ago, and all of a sudden all these other amps popped up that I didn't even know existed. So it's like I need to keep my eyes open for the new stuff. People have kind of given me the moniker of the Amp Man of YouTube, where because I demo so many amplifiers, and that's awesome for me because that's what I love, but I gotta live up to that reputation, man. I gotta be the one who's on the forefront of all the new amps and everything, just so I'm informed and I can give you guys good information, because ultimately this channel is built around presenting these amplifiers to you in the ways that you would use them, knowing what types of tones they're capable of, and then me being able to guide you in the right direction for the types of tones that you're looking for. So that's why this channel's here, and I gotta do a little bit better job of knowing my stuff and being current with the market. So yeah, great question, man. I went on for a long time about that, so we probably only have time for one more. If you guys would like to have your question featured on the next episode, you gotta leave it down there in the comments for me to answer. I really appreciate all the questions that I get from you guys and the engagement and everything. Really look forward to what questions that you have for me, and to being able to, you know, answer your questions and help you guys out on your tone journey. And with that being said, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you wanna support the channel, all the applicable stuff usually applies. I got my Sweetwater affiliate link down in the description if you wanna support via the Patreon page. you can jump into that too. I would really appreciate it. That thing has been growing quite a bit lately, and my Patreons will get the first look at some of the Kemper profiles before they go live, and we'll also be privy to getting some free profiles on top of the paid ones. So make sure to check that out down in the description, and then also consider joining my Facebook group where we talk about guitar gear all day long. It's a really great community. There is no toxicity there, no people talking crap about your favorite amp. It's just all love and a good time, and the type of community that I have always wanted, because the guitar community can be a little toxic, and we don't want that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.